Hello dear students. Today in this video we are going to discuss about the classification of kingdom Animalia. The kingdom Animalia, they are multicellular and heterotrophic. The kingdom Animalia are further classified into different phylums based on their fundamental features such as their level of body organization, whether they have a body cavity or not, the presence of segments or segmentation, or you can say the metamers, right? And also based on their body structure, whether they are symmetrical or asymmetrical. So these are some of the consideration which is used to classify and identify the different groups of the kingdom Animalia. So let us see here in this board, you can see the kingdom Animalia, which are multicellular. So based on level of body organization and also based on their body symmetry and presence or absence of body cavity. Or here, and these are the different phylums under the kingdom Animalia. The first phylum, that is the Porifera, they have only up to the cellular level, right? Though they are multicellular, but their body organization, the level of organization is only up to the cellular level, and their body is also asymmetrical. They do not have a proper shape of their body. They are asymmetrical in their structure. Then after that we have under radial and bilateral. Radial and bilateral body symmetry are symmetrical shape, means they have an equal half if a plane is passed through their body. In case of a radial symmetry, they will have equal halves if a plane passes through their body, whereas in case of bilateral symmetry, they will have equal half of left and right equal half. Okay, those are the bilateral symmetry. So from Platy Helmets up to the Chordata, they have a bilateral body symmetry, whereas Coelenterata and Stenophora, they have up to they have a radial symmetry, and they have up to the tissue organ and organ system level. Whereas here you can say Coelenterata, which are also called as Medalia, and Stenophora, they have up to the tissue level of body organization, and the rest, Platy Helmets and up to the Chordata, they have organ and organ system level of body organization. Then apart from this, the presence or absence of body cavity are also considered. For example, the Platy Helmets, they do not have a body cavity, they are dorsoventrally flat. For example, the tapeworm or the liver fluke planaria, these are some example of the group Platy Helmets. So they do not have a body cavity, they are completely flat. Whereas some organism, they seems to have a body cavity, but actually they do not have a body cavity. For example, the Ascomynths, those are for example the worms, the Ascaris, they seems like they have a body cavity, but actually they do not have a cavity. So such are called as pseudo-coelomates, means false cavity. Then next we have the Annelida, Arthropoda, Mulaska, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So all these phylum have a true body cavity, so they are called coelomates. Okay, so in this way these phylums are grouped based on these fundamental features, right? So now we will see each of these phylums in detail, their detailed characteristic feature, and we shall learn it, and also we shall see some of their examples. Now let us see the kingdom. Let us see the phylum Porifera. The Porifera are commonly known as the sponges. They are generally marine and they have an asymmetrical body structure. As you can see, these are some examples. This is Cycon, Euspongia and Spongilla. So their body does not have a symmetrical body, their body structure are not symmetrical. That is, if a plane passes through their body, it will not make any equal half. So it is called asymmetrical body structure. They have a unique feature of water transport or a canal system. That is due to the pores all over their body. The presence of pores, or the pores are known as the ostia, which is present at the entire body surface, and they have a central canal or the cavity which is called the spongocoel. So from the spongocoel, the water comes out of the body through the opening called osculum. So in this way, this water vascular system or the water canal system helps them to gather food, or help them to transport, or even to respire and remove waste materials. Apart from that, the wall of the spongocoel also contain the collar cells, or they are also known as choanocytes, and their body is supported by a skeletal system which is made up of spicules or the spongin fibers. Their sexes are not separate, that is, they are hermaphrodite. Egg and sperm are produced by the same individual, and they reproduce asexually by fragmentation and sexually by the formation of gametes. So fertilization is internal and development is indirect, having a larval stage which is different from their adult form. So this is about the porifera, and here is some example, includes the cycon, euspongia and the spongilla. Now let us see to the next phylum, that is Coelenterata. They are also known as Cnidaria. They are mostly marine, sessile or free swimming. The name Cnidaria is derived from the nidoblast or nidocytes, which contain the stinging capsules or nematocytes. So these stinging capsules are present on the tentacles of their body, which is generally it helps them for anchorage, that is to hold on the substratum or for the defensive purpose, or even to capture prey. The cnidarians, they exhibit a tissue level of body organization, and they are diploblastic, and they have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single opening, and the mouth is on hypostome, and their digestion is extracellular as well as intracellular. Since they have up to the tissue level of organization, so digestion can also be outside the cell, that is extracellular. Apart from this, some cnidarians like the corals, they have skeleton which is composed of calcium carbonate, and they exhibit two types of basic body form which is called polyp and medusa. The polyp means they are sessile, whereas medusa means they are cylindrical or they are free swimming. Example of polyp body, for example, like Adamsia, whereas the umbrella shaped and free swimming like Aurelia exhibit the body form, that is the medusa. It also includes the example, that is jellyfish. And those cnidarians which exist in both forms, they show an alternation of generation which is called metagenesis, means they alternately show both the form, that is both polyp as well as medusa, right? So in a way you can say that polyp produce medusa asexually and medusa form the polyp sexually, for example Obelia, right? So this is a unique characteristic feature of the phylum Coelenterata or Cnidaria. Some example includes Physalia, Adamsia, Gorgonia, Mindrina, okay, or sea pen, sea anemone, brain coral, Portuguese man of war. These are some common names. Okay, now let us see to the next phylum, that is Stenophora. The Stenophora are commonly called sea walnuts or comb jellies. They are marine and radially symmetrical. They have equal radial halves. They are diploblastic and have up to the tissue level of organization. The body bears external rows of ciliated comb plates which help them in locomotion. Their digestion can also be extracellular as well as intracellular. And the property which makes them unique is the property to emit light, which is called bioluminescence. So ctenophores, they can emit light, so they are called bioluminescents, and their sexes are not separate, and reproduction takes place only by sexual means, that is by the production of gamete. So fertilization can be external with indirect development, that is they may have larval stages which can be different from their parental or their adult form. Some example includes Leucobranchia or the Tenoplana. Then let us come to the next phylum, that is Platy Helmets. The Platy Helmets are the flatworms. They are dorso-ventrally flattened, means their body does not have any cavity, and most of them are endoparasites. They are found inside the body of animals or humans or live as parasites. Their body is bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic and acoelomate, that is without any body cavity. As they are parasites, some of the body structure or features that they have is the hook and suckers. So these hooks and suckers help them to grasp or to stick to the body of the host, right? And suckers help them to suck the blood, as they depend on the digested food by the host, right? And some of them absorb nutrients from the host directly through their body surface. They can be called as ectoparasite, and they have a specialized cell called flame cells helping osmoregulation, that is to maintain their body fluid and also helping them in excretion. Their sexes are not separate, and fertilization is internal. Development is through many larval stages. So some members are like planaria, which possess high regeneration capacity, and also some parasitic Platy helmets includes the tapeworm, that is Taenia, fasciola, or the liver fluke. So this is the picture of the Platy helmets. This is the tapeworm and this is the liver fluke. Now let us see the next phylum, that is Aschelminthis. Aschelminthis, their body is circular in cross section. They may have a cylindrical body, so hence they are called as roundworms. Because of the structure or the shape of the body, it seems like they have a body cavity, since their body is cylindrical or have a circular cross section, but actually they do not have any body cavity. So such are called pseudocoelomates. They can be either free living or aquatic, terrestrial, or even parasitic to plants and animals. So roundworms have some organ system level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and pseudocoelomate, that is without any body cavity. Their alimentary canal is complete with well-developed muscular pharynx, and the excretory tube removes body waste from the body cavity through the excretory pore. Sexes are separate, that is dioecious, means the male and female body are different. As you can see here, male and female can easily be identified, as male are comparatively smaller in size, whereas female are larger or longer, you can say. So fertilization is internal, that is inside the body, and development may be direct, that is the young ones may resemble to their adult form. Okay, so such development is called direct, or it can be indirect, having different larval stages. So some example includes Ascaris or Wuchereria, that is the filarial worm, or Encyclostoma, or you can say the hookworm. Right, so now let us move to the next phylum. Now let us move to the next phylum, that is Annelida. Annelida are aquatic. They can be both marine or freshwater, or even they can be terrestrial, free living, and sometimes parasitic. They exhibit organ system level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, means they can have equal left and right half. They are triploblastic, that is 3 layers of their embryonic stage, or metamerically they are segmented. So presence of segments or metamers on their body is their unique characteristic. As you can see in this figure, there are small lines all over their body from start till the end, in this case also. So these lines are called metamers. Actually the name Annelida comes from a Latin word, that is annulus, means little ring. So these little rings are found from top to bottom, or from first to last, you can say, of the entire body. So these are called metamers, and the phenomena is called metamerism. So this is the unique feature of the phylum Annelida, that is the presence of segments, right? So apart from that, they possess longitudinal and circular muscles which help them in locomotion, or some aquatic annelids like Nereis, they possess even appendages, right? These are appendages, so they help them in swimming. And apart from these appendages, they have a closed circulatory system, that is, from a pumping organ, the blood is transported to different parts through a proper channel, right? Such type of circulatory system is called closed type of circulatory system, as they have a organ system level of organization. So they have a well-formed circulatory system, as well as they have an organ for excretion called nephridia, which help in excretion as well as helping in maintaining their body fluid, that is osmoregulation. And neural system is by a paired ganglia or ganglion. They are connected by lateral nerves to double ventral nerve cord. Okay, so Nereis is an aquatic form and it is dioecious, that is male and female are separate. But earthworms and leeches are monoecious, that is reproduction. Monoecious means male and female are found in the same body, right? So reproduction is sexual, that is, even though both the gamete producing organ can be found in the same body or can be different. So it can be either dioecious as well as monoecious. So some example includes Nereis, Ferritima and Hirudinaria, which is the blood sucking leech. Now let us move to the next phylum, that is phylum Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of the kingdom Animalia. The Arthropoda have organ system level of organization. They have a bilaterally symmetrical body structure. They are triploblastic, segmented and coelomate. So all the characteristic feature of Annelida are found here. They are triploblastic, they are bilaterally symmetrical organ system. So what makes them different is their chitinous exoskeleton. Chitinous means they have a skeletal system which is outside, which covers their entire body outside, right? So such is called chitinous exoskeleton. So it gives them a proper shape and also the mechanical support. Their body is distinguished by different parts, including the head, thorax and abdomen, and they have a jointed appendages, right? The jointed legs. So they are characterized, or they are identified by the presence of jointed legs or jointed appendages. So respiratory organs are through gills. They have book gills or book lungs or tracheal system. Circulatory system is open type, means they do not have a proper channel for the flow of blood. That is, from an organ, the blood is simply bathed in and it is spread to different parts of the body. And their sensory organs like antenna, eyes, or stetocyst or balance organs are also present. Excretion takes place through Malpighian tubules, and they are mostly dioecious, means their sexes are separate, male and female are distinguished, and they are different body. So fertilization is usually internal, and they are mostly oviparous, that is egg laying, and development may be either direct or indirect. So here in this side you can see some of the organism belonging to the phylum Arthropoda. This is the grasshopper, butterfly, scorpion and prawn. So the organism under the phylum Arthropoda are of great economic importance. Some includes the honeybee, bombyx, that is the silkworm, or laccifer, that is leg insect, or some can be as vectors, okay, which are the carrier of infectious agents like the mosquitoes belonging from the group like Anopheles, Culex or Aedes mosquito, or some can even be a potential pest to the crop and can harm the crop production, like locust, or some are as fossils, living fossils like Limulus or king crab. So this is about the phylum Arthropoda. Now let us move to the next phylum, that is Mulaska. It is the second largest animal phylum. The Molaska are terrestrial, they are aquatic, and they have an organ system level of body organization, and their body is covered by a calcareous shell and is unsegmented with a distinct head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. So this is their unique characteristic, that is the presence of visceral hump. They have a soft and spongy layer of skin which forms a mantle over the visceral hump. Now let us see the phylum Molaska. It is the second largest phylum of the kingdom Animalia. They are terrestrial or can be aquatic, maybe marine or freshwater. They have organ level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic. So up to here it's a common characteristic, right? But the unique feature that the mollusk have is the type of their body, or you can say the body is covered by a calcareous shell and is unsegmented, right? They do not have segments, with a distinct head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. So this is their unique characteristic, by the presence of muscular foot and a visceral hump. Apart from that, they also have a soft and spongy layer of skin that forms the mantle over the visceral hump. The space between the hump and mantle is called the mantle cavity, in which feather-like gills are present. They have respiratory and excretory functions. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. The mouth contains a file-like rasping organ for feeding called radula. So these are some of the characteristic features of the phylum Molaska. Some example includes Pila, octopus. The mollusks are usually dioecious and oviparous with indirect development. Here some more examples are there, like pearl oyster, loligo, then octopus, Aplysia, Chytopleuria, dentalium. Okay, so these are some examples. Then next comes the echinodermata. Echinodermata or echinoderms are characterized by the presence of spines all over their skin. For example, the starfish. Okay, apart from the spines over their skin, they also have a water vascular system which makes them unique. This water vascular system helps them to move from one place to another, that is for locomotion. They help in capturing food and also help in transporting food as well as for capturing food and respiration. The excretory system is absent, sexes are separate, reproduction is asexual, and fertilization is usually external. So development is indirect with free swimming larvae. Some example includes Asterias, Echinus, then Antidon, Cucumeria, and Ophiuria. So these are example of the phylum Echinodermata. Now let us discuss the next phylum, that is Hemichordata. Hemichordata was earlier considered under the subphylum Chordata, but now it is placed as a separate phylum under non-Chordata. They consist of a small group of worm-like marine animals with organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and coelomate. The body is cylindrical and is composed of anterior proboscis, these are important, then collar and the long trunk. The circulatory system is open type and respiration takes place through gills. Excretory organ is proboscis gland, sexes are separate, and fertilization is external, and their development is indirect. Some example includes Melanoglossus and Saccoprocess. Now let us discuss the phylum Chordata. Animals belonging from this phylum are fundamentally characterized by the presence of notochord and paired pharyngeal slits, like here, the pharyngeal slits. These are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, coelomate with organ system level of organization. They possess a post-anal tail and a closed circulatory system. So this is the post-anal tail, this is the anal opening, and after that also they have a post-anal tail. So this is also one of the characteristic of a phylum under Chordata. So this phylum Chordata are further classified into three different types, that is Urochordata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Urochordata and Cephalochordata are often referred to as protochordates. So they commonly called as protochordates and are exclusively marine. In Urochordata, notochord is present only in the larval tail, while in Cephalochordata, it extends from head to tail and it persists throughout their life. Okay, so this is how they are classified. As in case of Urochordata, the notochord is only in one or in some stage of life, whereas Cephalochordata, the notochord is present all throughout their life. And both of them can be commonly grouped as protochordates. So some example of Urochordata includes Acidia, Salpa, Doliolum, and the example of Cephalochordata includes Branchiostoma or Amphioxus or Lanceolate. So this is about Urochordata and Tunicata. Now next we have the phylum Vertebrata. The Vertebrata possess a notochord during the embryonic period, and the notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous bony structure called the vertebral column in adults. So the vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Besides this basic characteristic, vertebrates have a ventral muscular heart with 2 or 3 chamber, kidney for excretion and osmoregulation, and paired appendages with which may be fins or limbs. Right, so these are about the subphylums under the phylum Chordata. So in my next video, I shall be explaining about the further classification of the subphylum Vertebrata. So I would like to end here. I hope you have learned it, and thank you so much for your patience learning, and hope to see you in my next video. So thank you so much.